You know, I've done a lot of dumb things in my life, a lot. A good example was dropping out of school in late 2019 to pursue my music career, which is going very well right now. But this challenge was the dumbest thing I've done in a long time. For some godforsaken reason, today I'm going to be trying to beat Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War without moving the camera. So, here's a quick rundown of the challenge. I will be playing the game as if I don't have the ability to move the camera myself. This means anytime the game moves the camera on its own, whether it's because of auto aim or an animation/cutscene, that's going to be allowed. But moving the camera independently will count as a failure. To help reduce the risk of me accidentally moving the camera myself, during the opening scene of the game, I immediately open up the menu, go to controller settings, and set my right joystick to the lowest sensitivity possible. That way, if I move the camera by accident, or just because of muscle memory, or because I'm just very stupid, the position of the camera won't change that much, and it won't really affect the challenge. Just to show you how slow the camera moves on these settings, here's a clip of me moving the camera as fast as possible. Oh yeah, I'm also playing on recruit difficulty because as much as I hate my life, I don't hate it enough to make this challenge any harder than it already is. Now that that's out of the way, let's start the game.
I am counting. 1.
You wake in a bar, which is not the normal place to wake up in. That's a bed. Walk outside to meet Woods, and this is where the first problem of the challenge presents itself. I can't bend down to grab the guns in the truck. So instead, I magically take the gun through the trunk of the car, like a wizard, I guess? Interacting with objects like doors, items, or vehicles is going to be the hardest part of this challenge. Got to the house and had my first fight. I can only imagine what went through the heads of these men as they saw a highly trained special agent stare at his own feet as he killed all their friends. I walked up the stairs and I meleeed my first melee. Wait, does that make sense? Can you use melee as an adjective? Hang on. Can you use melee as an adjective? Oh, okay, yes, you can. Okay, so I meleeed my first melee. That's when I realized when doing that, your camera will actually auto-aim in the direction of the person you attacked. Like I said earlier, camera movements like this are out of my control, so they're gonna be okay for the run. Took my first human shield, lost my first human shield, and began fighting my way through waves of enemies. At this point in the run, I hadn't figured out that using auto-aim would work as long as I aim my gun somewhere close to the enemies. Like I said, guys, I'm stupid. So I spent the fight trying to line myself up with enemies to kill them. The thing about that is, usually lining yourself up with someone who's shooting at you means that, you know, they're gonna shoot at you. So this strat ended up with a lot of me hiding behind cover to regain my health. It still worked. I cleared the rooftops, met up with Cuisine, or Kareem, or whatever his name is, it doesn't matter, he's dead now. Oh yeah, fun fact, Creed Bratton, yeah, the guy from The Office, he voices Mr. Black, which is like, weird.
How long before we get a rush?
Got to the airfield and was told to look for the target with the binoculars, but I can't look, so I kind of just waited it out and the scene progressed. Arash killed some men in a truck. That's probably not important to the story, so don't pay attention to it. I didn't snipe him because, you know, once again, I can't really aim, so I just started shooting, like a real American. Got to the truck where I first realized I can use auto-aim to easily kill people and manipulate the camera. Used my tiny car to blow up his car that flies. Watch this totally epic plane crash happen. Check out all those explosions. You could tell this is a good game because of the amount of shooting and exploding. Got bitch slapped by a plane wing and somehow only got knocked out from that. Arash took a nap. And I learned about Pegasus, the main villain of the story. He's like James Bond, but Russian and really into genocide. The greatest or worst American president in history makes the obligatory Call of Duty speech about how the free people of America must remain free by killing some other countries' free people, but it's okay because they aren't American, so they aren't actually free, so we're gonna go shoot them with freedom bullets to make them all free and democracy and free and all that stuff, freedom. Got introduced to Belle. At this point in the game, you get to create the character you're going to play as for the rest of the run. Took For Whom the as my first name and Tolls as my last, you'll see why in a second. Had my gender and place of birth classified, just like in real life, that information is withheld from me. Got to pick my race, and I went as my own because I felt weird choosing a race that wasn't mine. So pasty white it is. Let's hope all the missions allow me to equip sunscreen because I'm going to get burnt. picked my buffs for the rest of the run. I chose Dependable and Survivor. Dependable decreases damage when standing still, and Survivor gives me more health. I figured these would help me the best as I'm basically a blind man in battle for 70% of the time. Got to the safe house, listened intently to the important debrief, and started the mission. I woke up in late 1960s Vietnam. I knew this because the song being played in the background was one of those 5 songs they always play in Vietnam movies. It's like this whole period of time, only 5 songs came out, and they're the only songs that American soldiers were allowed to listen to. I don't know why. They all sound the same. It's weird, but whatever. Oh, I also knew I was in the late 1960s Vietnam because the game told me that. Oh, you can see why I named myself that now, too, by the way. Awkwardly walked my way to the chopper and had my first failure of the run. In order to board the chopper, I have to be facing the door, and with no way to move my camera in this section, I had no choice. So, no, you can't beat Cold War without moving your camera. I'm going to be changing the challenge now to can you beat Cold War by moving your camera as little as possible, which is basically the same thing if you account for the fact that I've already started writing and recording the challenge and I don't want to restart it or pick a new one. I had my first turn section of the game. Luckily, no matter what happens here, the helicopter lands safely, so it didn't matter that I didn't kill anybody. Meleeed a man who was still rendering, fought my way to a door I was barely able to open, and struggled to get into another helicopter. Same problem as before, I'm facing the exact opposite way I need to be in order to board the chopper. Unlike the first boarding sequence, I can restart and attempt to adjust my camera, because when I reload the last checkpoint, there's 3 enemies that spawn. After a few tries, I'm able to manipulate the camera by performing a takedown and get the camera to face the opposite way, so I'm able to actually board the chopper this time. For some reason, they wanted me to drive. I kinda thought this was weird and I explained to them how I can't look around, but they didn't seem to respond to that. It's probably because the AI in the game can't hear me. Aimed my shots by aligning the chopper with the targets, flew like a goddamn idiot, and somehow made it to the base. Got the nuke, and headed home. Almost instantly got shot down, watched this red shirt die, and crashed. Was told to let use of that goddamn turn, and began shooting. And by shooting I mean just holding on the trigger in a straight line. Thankfully, some of the enemies wanted to die. They ran straight into my constant line of fire, but the last 4 did not follow through with the suicide pact their brothers must have signed. I stayed shooting like this for over a minute, but we were in a stalemate. I couldn't aim at them, and apparently they couldn't do the same to me. I thought for sure I was soft locked, but the instant I took my fingers off the trigger, the enemies began to move again, and I was able to kill a few and progress to the next scene. I cowered like a man behind this rock, and some good old American napalm saved the day. Well, for me, not for those guys. They died horribly.
I need about 350.
What's 350?
I wanted to see if I could take out this train with my pistol. I couldn't. Train beats pistol. I didn't know what I expected. Went to the rooftop and was told to take a photo of a man passing through the checkpoint. I took a few photos of this brick wall instead, but that didn't seem to please Adler or his high standards of photography. Apparently, this photo of a brick wall won't hold up as actual evidence. But I ask you, Adler, do you truly know this wall isn't capable of committing a crime? Huh? I tried my hardest to get a photo of the man without moving my camera. I tried going to the lower rooftop, and I tried to see if there's a way to skip the section, but unfortunately there is not. So I failed the challenge for the second time. Met the contact in the bar, went to go take a shit, wrecked the toilet so goddamn hard I had to bail through the escape window. Tried to open this door, but I couldn't without turning my camera. There were some men shooting at me from my left, but I couldn't seem to get to them. If I could, I would have been able to melee them and change my camera's position, but for some reason I couldn't reach them. After a few tries, I threw in the towel and moved my camera again. Before unlocking the door, I wanted to see why I couldn't get to those guys to my right. Turns out they were behind a fence, so I killed them. Regardless, I'm at 3 fails now. Got upstairs, killed a Stasi, and encountered another door I couldn't open without moving the camera. I'm at 4 fails now. Was told to keep a low profile while sneaking across the street. I definitely did keep a low profile. No one saw me. Got to park and was ordered to sneak into Klaus's apartment. Met another door I couldn't open. I'm at 5 fails now. Committed domestic abuse and knocked out Klaus's wife. I struggled to throw her body on the couch. Took me a few minutes of trying. Eventually I had to give in and move the camera. This would have counted in my 6th use, but I was spotted by Klaus almost immediately and had to restart the B&E. This time I chose to let the wife live and just made my way straight upstairs. Got to his office and had to move the camera to get into his secret room, so now I'm at 6 uses. Found Klaus's secret second wife and got knocked the fuck out. Got introduced to Volkswagen, fought my way to the back of the building where he was trying to escape through a little door. I couldn't aim to kill him, so I used my inner FaZe clan and let the AK's recoil do the work.
4.
Was told to take another photo, but this time I could actually do it. Skipped another sniping section by just pretending it didn't exist, and started to sneak into the base. I honestly thought I was going to fail a lot here. Without being able to see where I was going, I thought for sure I was just going to bump into someone and fail the stealth section, but I made it through on my first try. Did this epic gangster 420 69 proud moment slow motion kill by just shooting in one place and watching the guy just like run into it. So epic. Saw Woods do a funny, just joking, I couldn't see him do it. The game wanted me to take another stupid photo, and that required me to move my camera. I tried interacting with the arcade machines to get the camera to move, but nothing worked. I failed again. Fought some enemies in the most American building that ever exists, royalty-free McDonald's, Burger Town. It took a few tries, but I made it through. Was introduced to my first heavy, and cowered behind some barrels like the man I am. Unfortunately, at the elevator, I did have to turn to press the button, making my fail total 8. Got to the computer room where I had to fail again to get onto the computer, and then fail another time to use the computer. That rounds my tally up to 10. Was supposed to sprint down this corridor as the APC shoots at us for like some really cool action movie shit, but I can't sprint backwards, so I kinda just moseyed my way down to the other end of the hallway and somehow didn't die. Now, this fighting section was one of the few in the game that I struggled with a lot. I start facing off the right way, and there are plenty of supplies and cover to use during the fight, but for some reason my gun kept auto-aiming at the vehicles enemies were taking cover behind, which made it hard to get kills. And because of the heavies, I couldn't just go around meleeing everybody. Eventually I got lucky enough, I was skilled enough, and I was able to kill them and get into the APC, which is great because I totally want to do another turn section. First part is pretty easy. I can't kill anybody, but they can't kill me either, which is kind of embarrassing. Like, I have an excuse as to why I can't kill them, but what's the reason they have? Is this why Russia lost the Cold War? If they lost the Cold War, is the Cold War even over? So I just kind of waited for Woods to start driving. Once you get to the park area, there is an enemy APC that you have to take out before exiting the park. If you don't, you die. I retried this area a few times, but without moving my camera, I couldn't get past it. So I failed again and had to move the camera. When I killed the APC, I put my turret facing forward so I wouldn't have to move it a second time to kill the enemies in the next section, and got out of the weird pyramid thingy. Or whatever. What are we, in Egypt or something? Like, what the fuck is... Now it's time to play the obligatory Black Ops 1 mission. You know, that one mission where the game basically admits to you that Black Ops 1 was the best COD campaign to come out in the Black Ops series and tries super hard to fill you with nostalgia so you'll like this campaign, but then you just end up wanting to play Black Ops 1 again? Woods is an onion.
I'm a goddamn onion, Mason.
What the fuck does that mean?
Did some horrible sniping and somehow made it to the last zipline. But of course it broke and I entered yet another stealth section. Backwards bunny hopped my way to a door I couldn't open, 12 fails now. This section took a bit. Went to hide in a room hoping I could lure enemies in there and take them out, but somehow they lost track of me. Once again, this is probably why the Russians lost the war. Their AI was poorly programmed. Eventually killed them all and came face to face with the hardest enemy type of this run. Another goddamn door. 13 fails now. This guy tried to sneak up on me, but joke's on him, I'm using way too expensive headphones for this game, so I heard his foots in 1080p HD. Had to fail to get up a ladder and then failed again to spot a crane or something. I don't know, I'm not paying attention to the story. Got to the next fighting section. The first half of this area is pretty easy, but near the end there's an enemy turret who's up high. At first I tried outrunning him, but I'm not faster than bullets. So I had to figure out a way to turn my camera with auto aim to get the kill. By putting myself slightly to the right of enemies and then aiming my camera, I would turn to the left. So I repeated this a few times until I was facing the right direction, but now I had to figure out how to get up to his height. So I did some A1 parkour and got on top of these boxes and I was able to kill him. Got to the mainframe and started the exfil. I thought I was gonna die over and over here again, but it only took 2 tries because I was just spamming grenades.
You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can.
Time for the coolest mission of the game, but I am forced to play it like a moron. I get to the board meeting, I struggle to sit down. I can only imagine what the high-level Soviet officials in the room thought as I repeatedly ran my ass into the back of a chair attempting to sit down. This chair defeated me, bringing my total to 16. Met a door I couldn't open. I hate doors. Checked to see if friendly fire was on. It was. And failed to hide the body. 18 fails now. I got to choose how I want to commit treason, which was fun. I chose to do the prisoner route, thinking I wouldn't have to move the camera as much. Almost failed immediately doing it, got caught picking a lock, got it on my second try, double checked to see if friendly fire was on, moved my camera to get a file, made it back to the prisoner. Failed because the goddamn door closed behind me for some reason. I didn't close it. Who the fuck closed the door? What the fuck is this shit? Is the game like trying to make me fail? Like, fuck. Watch as the prisoner checked to see if friendly fire was on. It was. Got the key, moved the camera for the 22nd time this run, and met up with Adler and Bell. Killed this guard by teleporting behind him, failed changing clothes, went through the checkpoint, and had to turn to check my bag. This mission is really killing this run. Got to the elevator where I met this guy. Why the hell does his beard look so fake? It's so black and compared to his bald ass head, it looks like someone put Play-Doh on the character model. Got to the bunker and started murdering the innocent, who actually aren't innocent because they're like dirty communists or greedy capitalists or whatever. Took some hostages, died a bunch, but finally got to the end. Moved my camera to plant a gas bomb, had to cheat to turn on the computer. I let Adler do all the killing on the way out. I don't get paid enough to try that hard. Put on these cool vintage gas masks, which I guess aren't vintage because it is the 80s right now. So I guess I put on these cool modern gas masks, which make them not cool because they're not vintage anymore. So I just put on this gas mask. The escape from the building was pretty easy. It's basically a straight line out. Blew up this car by shooting at it. This was my revenge for the train that killed me earlier, and finally finished the mission. I failed 10 times in just this mission. My fail total is now 25.
Number 7. Student watches porn and gets naked.
Got to Cuba and entered another sniping section, but this time I went MLG FaZe Clan on these absolute bots. Get wrecked, noob. Got inside and walked backwards through the halls, ran straight into these landmines and somehow lived. Bashed this door open with my mind like I'm Professor X. Had to listen to Laser hit on Park the whole time, but I don't think their relationship would work out well, mainly because Park is British, and you know what they say about the British. Come on, I know you know. Got soft locked in this hallway, had to look at Laser Beam to open it. Was on my way to the roof when I got stuck on this platform. I thought I had to kill the enemies on the ground, and spent multiple minutes and lives throwing grenades, performing 360 double YY no scopes, and trying to auto aim at them, but none of that worked. So I moved my camera to discover that all I needed to do was jump up this ledge. Tried again with the camera facing the original position, but that didn't work. So I had to take another fail to jump onto the roof. Now this part of the mission, we gotta hold out for a few minutes and fight off waves of enemies before exfilling. But with my camera facing the other way, there was nothing I could do. I just lied down behind some cover and let Laserbum and Park do it. Plus I think they had a really easy time doing it, or not. I don't know guys, I was on my phone. Skyhook drops, and I have to move the camera to interact with it. An RPG goes off, and now I have 10 seconds to choose to save Laserman or Park. I didn't want to save Laser Guy because I was running out of jokes for his name, and I didn't want to save Park because, you know, you know what they say about the British, come on. Didn't matter anyways, I couldn't move my camera, so I let them both die. Hey, maybe they can get that pint together in hell, or heaven, or whatever. I don't care, I hated them both, so.
Does size matter?
No. You know what, I'm good with 8 inches, yeah.
Time for the trippy mission, where the truth is revealed. Kinda like another game, but I can't remember the name of it.
Perfect!
Adler says the phrase word.
Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find it?
And I'm sent into a training simulation where I slaughter Vietnamese rice farmers because somehow they're taking away my freedoms because they're like farming rice so good or something. I don't know. Followed Adler's orders to the T because I'm a good little boy who wants to end this mission as fast as possible. Gone to the cave, face palmed some noobs, made it to the red door, and restarted the trip. But this time at night. Snuck past these enemies really easy. They didn't even see me. Fought my way to the village, met my best friend, lost my best friend. Got to the end of the path, went through the red door, and restarted again. This time the Vietnamese rice farmers were all white men in leather jackets and sunglasses. That seemed a bit weird to me, but I don't know much about Vietnamese culture, so maybe this is normal. Adler underestimated how much of a pussy I am.
You just ran away.
Got to another sniping section and I decided I won't be doing that, so I got up close and turned my sniper into an M16. Almost got napalmed, but the game saved my life. Man, they lit that up like a tinderbox.
like a tinderbox.
Got through the red door, walked backwards until I was forced to use the camera again. Tried to watch porn on this computer, but I think the computer is a good Christian and didn't let me yank it. Finally met Pegasus, where I learned that I'm actually a dead guy that didn't really die and then was brainwashed by Adler to find Pegasus and friends. You know, normal Cold War stuff. You were then given a choice. Tell the truth about Pegasus' location and help the Americans do what Americans do and kill a bunch of communists. Or I could lie and join my true brothers in arms and create a new glorious utopia by killing the American capitalists. Which just sounded like more fun. So I went with that one. Set up an ambush at Duga and led the team there. Had a quick combo with Adler and friends before deciding it was time to say goodbye. Started fighting the enemies who were my friends but are now evil because I just decided they were. Killed Mason in Woods with my AK-47 before realizing I had a sniper. So I reloaded that checkpoint and went MLG FaZe Clan one more time.
Get wrecked.
Shot Mason so hard I removed his neck from existence and made blood come out of Wood's legs by hitting him in the head so good. Got to Adler and thought there was going to be a long cutscene of him explaining himself before I killed him. This whole time I'm thinking I just want to end the game as fast as possible, so I'm just spamming the trigger, nothing's happening, I'm watching him talk. But I had no idea it would just cut him off and blow his head off like mid-sentence. So that took me by surprise.
Mind given.
Tried to back out of the room, but couldn't. Of course the last fail of the run is because of another fucking door. Called down the nukes, and I completed the challenge. Well, like Adler trying to save American freedom, I failed. I failed big time. At the end of the run, I moved the camera a total of 30 times. Now, for those of you not great at math, 30 is larger than 0. So I did not complete Call of Duty Black Ops without moving the camera. I mean, honestly, the fighting sections were pretty easy. The only difficult thing was setting up your camera for specific actions, but other than that, not too bad. If you want to try to do this, go ahead. And if you get less camera moves than me, feel free to call me a hack in the comments. My stats at the end of the run were 6 hours of playtime, 30 camera moves, 2 deaths, and 1 communist utopia. If you enjoyed the video, whether it was because I made you laugh, or because you enjoyed watching me fail over and over again, I would greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps me grow my channel. And hey, they're free to give, so you know, do it. Do it. Do it right now. You don't think I can't see you there sitting at your desk? Pick up your cursor and move it. You want to see your mother alive again, right? Because I have her right here with me. I also have a fucking gun pointed at her head. So you know what you're going to do right now? You're going to move your cursor, you're going to put it over the thumbs up icon, and you're going to fucking click it. And if you don't, I swear to God, I will paint the walls red with your mother's fucking... Oh, you already liked. Oh, never mind. I don't have your mom. Subscribe too or your dad gets it. Haha. Thanks for watching. Much love. Now get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? The video's over. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Woo! Baby, we having a good night tonight. I'm feeling real froggy.